You're really good at these games that I come up with. Steve is very great when we play Guess the Stat. He knows all the stats. But this one, it's a little bit different.
Especially when I provide the stats.
It's more of, yeah, this is true, especially when you know the stats beforehand. A cheater. Just kidding. We're going to play Would You Rather. So it's not necessarily your smarts as to what you know stat-wise, but I'm going to give you two players, player X, player Y, for the same position.
Right.
And based off the stats that I show you, you are going to pick what player you would rather have.
Right.
And then we will reveal set player.
So I don't know. Now, this, unlike our stat game when I did know some of the stuff there.
Yeah.
Only because I'd studied, not because I'd cheated. I don't know who these players are. You're giving me these stats of these two different players who are real guys, you're saying?
These are real guys.
They're real guys, real stats.
Some
I don't
are
know their
NFL-wide, some
Right.
are Super Bowl. And I'll let you know which ones are NFL-wide.
And
which
we're going
ones
to
are
find
Super
out
Bowl.
which ones, by their stat line, which one would you rather have?
Yeah, which one would you rather
It sounds
have.
simple enough until you start saying the stats are a little different in subtle ways.
And
Okay.
then you reveal who the player is.
All
You
right.
might be like, ooh, do I want that guy?
All right, here we go. I'm
Here we
ready.
go. We're going to go with quarterback first. Would you rather have? All right, this guy is 201, 286. So that's,
Wait. 201 of 286?
yep, 70.3% of his passes he's completed. So if you are watching on
Okay, here we
TV,
go.
you have the graphic right here. For 2,742 passing yards, he averages 9.6 yards per pass attempt. He averages 228.5 passing yards per game, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Player B, he completes 60.8% of his passes, 373 of 613 to be exact, for 4,057 yards. He has 6.6 passing yards per attempt, 253.6 passing yards a game, 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So when you look at the passing yards, very different. Player A has 2,742. Player B, 4,057. But when you look at the completion percentage, player A higher than player B.
All right, player A is completing 70% of his passes for 2,700 yards. Player B is 60% of his passes for 4,000 yards. Player A's got a 9.6 pass per yards attempt, and the second guy, 60% for 4,000 yards, he goes 6.6%. Wow, this is hard. I'd say
Touchdowns are similar, 22 to 21.
I gotta say, take
Interceptions,
player
6 to 8.
A, 70% completion percentage, even though he's only got 2,700 yards. He's got 9.6 per attempt, 228 yards a game compared to 253. Same touchdown, 22 to 6. Yeah, I'll take player A, 70% completion rate, 2,700 yards, 9.6 per pass attempt, 228 yards per game, 22
Player
touchdowns.
A.
Yeah, who are they?
Show me the money.
Do you have this? Who is it?
Oh,
I took Ryan
you took
Tannehill
Ryan
over Tom
Tannehill
Brady.
over Tom Brady.
I stink.
How do you feel about that
I
decision,
feel
Steve?
a little sick to my stomach now that I'm the general manager and I've got Ryan Tannehill instead of Tom Brady. But that, yeah, I get it. Tom Brady had 4,000 yards passing this year, only completed 60% of his passes, 253 yards a game. And Tannehill had that great run. I should have seen this coming.
You know,
Yeah.
one played in more games than the other.
Yeah, I took Ryan Tannehill
You took
over
Ryan
Tom
Tannehill
Brady.
over Tom Brady. Let it
I'm
be
gonna
known
lose
to the
my
world.
job over that.
Steve Tasker, Ryan Tannehill over Tom Brady.
Wow.
It's okay. We can move on.
I
you
see
can
the
bounce
gist
back.
of this game. It's more of a I'm combating embarrassment right here now. Okay. All right.
Hey,
so
who
I got Ryan
Tannehill could be great next year. We had a sample size of him this season.
Yeah.
Seasons past, not the best, but he could have his best
All
football
right.
ahead of him.
All right. You got me.
All
on
right,
the,
all right.
You got me on the quarterback.
Okay,
What's next?
let's move on to some tight ends.
All right.
Would you rather have?
These aren't these are Super Bowl tight ends.
These are
or not?
Super Bowl tight ends,
right.
which pretty much absolutely gives it away,
That's
but
right.
you don't know which one is which unless you've really studied these two tight end stat lines. So player A, 97 receptions on 136 targets. More than 1,200 receiving yards, 12.7 yards per catch, 13 big plays, so these are plays of 20 or more yards, and 5 touchdowns. Player B, these are very similar stat lines. Player B, 85 catches on 107 targets, 1,053 receiving yards, 12.4 yards per catch, 16 big plays, and 5 touchdowns. So Do you want more catches on more targets? When you factor into how many catches they've had off targets, their percentages are probably very similar. One has about 200 receiving yards than the other. One has 3 more big plays than the other, 13 big plays to 16 big plays. They both have 5 touchdowns. Now, what we don't have is the blocking stats here.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
Steve is doing math on his phone right now.
I'm doing the math.
We are getting into this.
Ah, man, I'll take the guy with the lesser state. He had more big plays, and he had a much higher catches per target ratio. So I'm going to take the 85 receptions on 107
for
targets.
Less receiving yards.
For 1,000, for about just under 200 yards less receiving yards, just about the same yards per reception.
Mm-hmm.
3 more big plays and the same number of touchdowns. So I'm taking player B.
Show me who it is.
85 receptions to 97 receptions. Yeah, I took George Kittle. Yeah, I like that.
George Kittle. You okay with that decision?
I'm okay with that. I'll take any one of those guys.
Yeah, right.
But I like Kittle. And the only reason I say that is because when you throw him the ball, he catches it. Travis Kelce had 136 targets and missed 40 of them, 39 of them.
He had, in the last 2 games, he had 2 drops that I was like, holy moly, how are you dropping that ball? Like, that is incredible. You're Travis Kelce. You should not be dropping balls that are thrown right in the middle of your hands.
There you go.
So
I'm taking Kittle, and I will take the boost in run production as well. So
okay, and you got the blocking. Yep.
I took Kittle.
So
I'm keeping track of this.
Let's move on to
go ahead.
Our wide receivers. Would you rather have, now this is league wide, not Super Bowl wide. Okay. Let's see. Player A, 52 receptions off 84 targets, 1,051 receiving yards, 20.2 yards per catch. That's big.
That is big.
15 big plays, 8 touchdowns. Or would you rather have player B? He has 72 receptions, a little bit higher, off 128 targets.
44. He's 20 receptions on 44 extra targets.
1,200 receiving yards.
150 more yards in receiving
16.7 yards per catch, not as much as player A. 21 big plays.
1 big play every 3
And you have 9 touchdowns, so 1 more touchdown than this guy.
I'm going to go again. I'm going to lean towards the analytics and go to the 52 receptions on 84 targets. 150 yards less receiving, 1,051 as compared to 1,200. But the big play, the 20.2 yards per reception.
That's huge.
And 15 big plays and 8 touchdowns. I'll take player A.
You'll take player A?
Rather than the 72 receptions on 128 targets.
Player A, show us who player A is, please.
That is, I took A.J. Brown and left
over Devontae Parker.
All right. Hey, I'm good with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like the high percentage of catches that he has. Got great production, big playability, 8 touchdowns versus Devontae Parker's 9. Yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
All right.
Totally okay
I like
with
that pick. A.J. Brown over Devontae Parker. Some good
I think
stats for both of those.
efficiency in your targets is great, man.
You want to be able to catch the ball more.
Yeah, or at least whenever it's thrown to you.
Less drops.
Yeah, less drops.
Shall we move on to our running backs?
Okay, go ahead.
Would you rather have, this is running backs, this is league-wide as well for running backs. Running back A, 223 rushes for 857 yards, 3.8 yards per rush. Not the best. 12 touchdowns, though.
Right.
57.1 rushing yards a game is what this player's averaging. Or would you rather have player B? He has 217 rushes for 1,003 yards, 4.6 yards per rush. This is getting more ground. 6 touchdowns. This player averages 77.2 rushing yards per game.
So the difference is this, player B has better stats except for the touchdowns. But touchdowns, I mean, for a running back, it's just like when are they going to hand you the ball down close, right?
Yep.
I'll take player B. 217 for 1,003 yards. 4.6 a rush is a really good number. You got 6 touchdowns, averaging 77 yards a game. I'll take player B.
Take player B?
Yeah, he's more
All right, player B over player A. Who is player B? Player B is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley over Todd Gurley.
Yeah. I can get, Saquon. I mean, he didn't have the great year, but
He had a
good.
pretty good year. Todd Gurley, more touchdowns, but definitely yet less rushing yards per game.
Yeah, because touchdowns are a function. Like your team, you get down there, if you get a lot of goal-to-go situations and your team wants to hand you the ball, they do. They could also take you out and hand it to somebody else. So that's kind of fun. Saquon Barkley is really good. That was, I'm glad I got him.
Saquon Barkley's a great
I
running
got
back.
that right. So I missed I'm pretty good except for the quarterback thing.
The quarterback one, it was the first one. It's okay. We're setting you up through this. You had to get one out of the way. All right, should we move to defense?
All right, go ahead.
So we're going to do some defensive linemen, and this is going to be a Super Bowl centric between the two. So, defensive linemen, would you rather have player A, who has 36 tackles, 9 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 4 passes defensed, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery? Or would you rather have player B?
Right.
He has 47 tackles. He also has 9 sacks. He has more tackles for loss with 17, 2 passes defense, 1 forced fumble, but 2 fumble recoveries.
It's got to be player B.
Similar stat lines.
He's got more tackles, the same amount of sacks, 7 more tackles for loss. He's got 2 as compared to 4 passes defense, but everything else he's got better. I'm going to take player B.
So tackles for loss is definitely more important than passes defense in your mind?
I think so, too.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think so, yes.
2 fumble recoveries.
Yep.
Okay.
Tackles for loss are better
More
than
tackles.
passes defensed.
Okay.
Yes.
Player B over player A. I wonder who player B is.
Who is it?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I got Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa over Chris Jones. Nick Bosa, quite the year for a rookie. To see those stats from a rookie is pretty incredible.
How about Chris Jones having a kind of year that stacks up pretty well with
Chris Jones
Nick Bosa?
also only played in 13 games, so
Right.
he has 3 less games than Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Nick Bosa's a defensive rookie of the year. I mean, that guy's really good. So
Yeah, to go up
both
against
those
somebody
guys
like
played
Chris
really.
Jones.
Chris Jones put together a nice season for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is surprising because they didn't have anybody that was playing defense last year. Good for that. All right, so I got Nick Bosa and
You got
Saquon
Nick
Barkley on my
Bosa.
team.
You're making quite the team
Problem
right
is, I
now.
still
You're
got
putting
Ryan
together some
Tannehill
great
in my
players.
quarterback spot.
You know, it's okay. You build around maybe a couple players, then you put your quarterback in last.
All right, here we go.
It could work.
Last
All right, we
one.
have one more. This is our corners. Would you rather have? This is league wide. Player A, would you rather have 61 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 11 passes defense, 3 interceptions, 0 sacks, but 1 touchdown? Or would you rather have player B? He's got 58 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 17 passes defense, 6 interceptions, 1 sack, and no touchdowns.
I think you got to go. I think for corner, you got to go player B.
Player B, you
less
like
tackles.
the interceptions?
I got tackles, three more tackles for loss. I got more passes defensed, 3 more interceptions, got a sack. Now, player A had the touchdown, but other than that, I think, player B is a player B.
Player B over player A?
Yep.
All right, player B over player A for the corners. Show me who player B is, please.
Tre'Davious
Trey White. Let's
over
go.
Richard Sherman. Yeah, what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got Tre'Davious White over Richard Sherman. That's a pretty good stat line.
That is a pretty dang good stat line, but PFF graded Richard Sherman as the best coverage player we learned today.
That's what I'm saying. And what we said it stat, and I think he probably is as good as anybody. I mean, Richard Sherman is a phenomenal player, and it's hard to to equalize, the 2 guys who are being asked to do different things in both defenses. But Richard Sherman, both those guys are elite corners. I mean, good grief.
Oh, heck yeah.
What do I care which one I get? But Trey White, awesome. Had a great year, good season. It's nice to see him in there with a guy like Richard Sherman.
And to
Great
see those
player.
stats, not knowing what players which. So read us off the players that you chose, please.
I took Tre'Davious White over Richard Sherman. I got Nick Bosa, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown at wide receiver, George Kittle, and Ryan Tannehill. Oh, you could have done that with every quarterback compared to Tom Brady this year, though. But I took Ryan Tannehill's stat line over Tom Brady's.
How do you feel about your selections?
Pretty good up until the time we have to throw the football.
Well, I mean, it's okay. You got some great players other than that.
Yeah. All right. That's good. That's cool though. That's a good game. I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
It's you got to compare their stats, and without knowing who the players are, it changes things when you see who they are.
Yeah, when you really reveal.
Yeah.
Oh, Tannehill, what?
Yeah.
I don't
and
know.
I got a guy and I didn't know who Chris Jones was for the Kansas City Chiefs, and
great
he's
player.
stacking up against Nick Bosa, who
Yeah.
looks pretty good. So it's
Yeah.
that's a fun game.
Fun game. Maybe we'll play it again soon.
Yes, let's do.